we read this question, right? So it's RJ and Miss McCrae. They're trying to throw this party, right? And they get quotes from two places, right? Both places charge them up front, like what happens if damage is caused, right? So you're going to pay it, right? Regardless. And then they have this kind of dependent piece, right? So it kind of depends on how many people show up, right? So both are, so you're basically going to write these two things in terms of y equals mx plus b, right? Where m is your slope, so you get charged per person that shows up, right? So they give you two numbers for those. And b is kind of like, you're going to pay this regardless if somebody shows up. So it's your y-intercept, right?
Oh, yeah, this is way easier to graph.
This is what, you can graph them and solve for the point of intersection, but I don't think they want you to do it with this one.
Okay.
Because I think they want you to solve the system. Actually, they don't really specify, so I guess you could kind of graph it, but they don't give you a graph.
Okay.
So I think they're hinting towards using substitution or elimination. Right, but we got to come up with the two equations first. Okay?
Yes.
So let's do hypotenuse Hall here, right? So hypotenuse Hall charges $100, right? And then $6 per person for snacks. So let's write an equation on that, and I'll do it in red, and then we'll keep it straight, right? So y is going to be the amount of money that they're going to charge.
6x plus 100.
Perfect.
Because 100 is where you're coming out from y, and 6x is what you're increasing.
Perfect. Okay. And then the other one is what then?
And then let me just write this.
Pie Place charges $20 for damage. Oops. I meant to get the highlighter. So $20 for damage, but $10 per person for snacks. Okay. I don't want to write those in yellow, so I'll write it in black. So what's your equation for this one?
Y equals 10x plus 20.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, you okay with that? You seem 100% okay with that.
I'm good with these, yeah.
Okay, so then you could just, now it's just this question. It's substitution or elimination, whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay, so let's do elimination, some easy.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is say we're gonna subtract 2.
Or we could, substitution would be good for this one.
Whatever you want to do.
Substitution, definitely.
Okay,
Okay, so,
let me get rid of that.
so,
What are you substituting where?
the y value. Or x. So,
Okay, so here's the catch for substitution. This one's not like a normal substitution question, right? So let's go back to our blue box thing. Okay, so this might make a little bit of sense. So a blue box is equal to this. Where else do you see a blue box?
right there.
Okay, so you got to put this there.
Oh,
Which isn't a bad, it's not bad. But you can see how, that one's not as conceptual. Again, we're getting at kind of the, not subjectivity, but you kind of got to be a little bit creative to see that, right? Whereas elimination, you could have subtracted the 2 and eliminated y,
yeah.
right? That's a little bit more methodical. The substitution for this one's a little trickier to see that, right? So basically, you just get to write this. You get to go, okay, well, fine, 6x plus 100 is equal to 10x plus 20.
Yeah, so
Right?
let's do 100 minus 20 is equal to 10x minus 6x. So now 80 is equal to 4x divided by 4. 10 is equal to x. And then we do...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Oh, wait, 20 is equal to x.
Yeah.
And then we just do
Throw it in somewhere.
y equals 6 times 20 plus 100. Y equals 6 600. Wait. Is it 200?
I gotta catch up to you here. 6 times 20
Plus 100.
plus 100, right? So that's gonna be 6 times 2 is
200? Or
120, right?
100.
6 times 2, 6 times 2 is 12. With a 0 is gonna be 120. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So 120 plus 100 is going to equal 220, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the final question is oh, never mind. Okay, so they've been nice to you here. They we'll call it scaffolding, right? They kind of broke the question down. Was like kind of scaffolding,
Yeah.
like a building, so that you don't leave anything out. Because typically I would say, okay, you need to state, okay, so the POI, right, is 20 and 220, right? Now, normally under what we said before, you'd have to say a therefore statement, right? But that's kind of what they want you to do with C. So explain in a sentence the meaning of this intersection point in context.
Okay, so at 200 and... Okay, so what is X represent everything?
So let's draw. I'll draw a little graph here. That's cool, right?
No, I know this for... So at per person. Okay, so at 20 people... the line of intersection, all it means is it's when they cost the same.
Yeah.
And then when one starts to cost more and be worth less. And
Right. So we're gonna say somewhere out here at 20. We're gonna say here in 220.
So like, yeah.
Right.
So after 20 people, it would be viable for her to use this. But before,
Which one's which though is the trick, I guess, with this question.
yeah.
This is hard, because you don't really have. You don't know which one's where's going where, right?
Yeah.
We didn't graph. That's right. So it's hard for you to say, okay, which one's which. This is hard. I haven't even thought about this yet.
Well, in the future, I think I will always graph.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring in graph paper to the exam. Smuggle in a big sheet of it.
You could even say it doesn't. Oh, it does say in context. In context, that's the tricky part. You could say like, for more than.
Well, we know what we're talking about. Like, we did the question right and everything.
Yeah. I think the more expensive one is gonna be. I think the rate dominates over time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at whichever one has the higher slope, right? In this case, it's the yellow one, right? So this is $10 per person. That's gonna, like, if I looked at what would happen as I went to infinity, or like even 200, the 10 is gonna dominate the 6. Then I know that you can you don't even need to really graph, right? You just gotta think about, like, what happens if 300 people show up? 10 times 300 is going to be 3,000.
Yeah.
Right? But 300 times 6 is what?
6,000?
1,800, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, you can look at the slope. The slope dominates over time, right? So your therefore statement is like, okay, well, for 20 people, the price is the same. For more than 20 people, you're going to pick the hypotenuse hall, right? So let's say greater than 20 people, hypotenuse hall.
Mm.
Less than
20.
Less than 20, you're going to pick pi place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so now they're asking you one last question, and then we're done, right? If 35 students attend the party, which hall provides the cheaper option?
Okay, so now we just do y equals 6 times...
Good. You can do that. That's
I'll-
100%
yeah.
valid, right? you can go y equals 6 times 35 plus 100. That's 100% right. Okay, you're allowed to do this. And then you can also go, okay, well, y equals 10 times 35 plus 20. See which number is lower. But what did we just say in our therefore statement? If I have greater than 20 people,
she'd need, yeah. She should use pie plate or hypotenuse hall.
yeah, less than 20, pie plate. So you can make that conclusion. That's why they're asking you that, right? But this is 100% valid to do this too.
Yeah.
Where you can you plug in the number and see what number you're going to get. 10 times 35 is going to be equal to 350 plus 20 is going to be 370, right?
Yeah.
6 times 3 and another 30, it looks like maybe. 180 plus, is it 210? 210 plus 100 is going to be 310?
Yeah.
Is that right? What's 6 times 35? Look at me go. Yeah. There you go. Right? So then this confirms our conclusion above. Greater than 20 people, hypotenuse hall.
Perfect.
Right? You can see it written in numbers. That was a good approach.